Genius. Absolute genius. Two words that will be a disgrace to describe me as, but okay. Hello, I am the Irish guy. And today I'm going to take a look at every Premier League club and find each team's one genius transfer move this summer. A signing that has actually gone under the radar. A move that hasn't exactly been praised to the moon. A low-key smart signing that I think is actually extremely clever. Yes, even you, Chelsea. Even you've done something smart. Right, let's go. Arsenal, David Raya. Well, I've already said that I think Riccardo Calafiori will be an absolutely melted fudge brownie of a centre-back for the Gunners, so their only other piece of transfer business so far is tying up a £29 million deal for David Raya. I mean, to snatch a Spanish international goalkeeper away from Brentford, and for what, just £85,000 in weekly wages? I mean, considering he is the second choice Spain goalkeeper, whilst the 12th choice Spain goalkeeper just priced himself out of a move to Genoa by demanding about 3 times that amount, then not bad, lads. Aston Villa, Samuel Jr. Yeah, because he arrives in a swap deal pretty much from Juventus, nobody really seems to have appreciated what a crazy chunk of transfer business this is. I mean, no, the story is that Aston Villa sold Douglas Luiz to Juventus, but nobody has really noticed what came the other way. I feel like how 20 years ago, because Barcelona were signing a Champions League winning Ballon d'Or contender like Deco from Porto, nobody really cared that they were posting Ricardo Quaresma the other way. A complete wet Barca pancake, by the way, but then Quaresma soon became a beast, and so will Samuel Jr., a dazzling 20-year-old winger who spent 9 years in the Rockstar Academy of Chelsea and just chucked in half a decade at Juventus. I mean, lads, because he spent the last 5 years eating spoonfuls of spaghetti in Turin, then he doesn't have the hype of the other English wingers who the media regularly watch a match of the day. In fact, he is a completely forgotten footballer. Come on, last season, he played 24 times for Juventus. I mean, he has played left back for England under 21s, where he actually scored twice from left back in a recent game against Luxembourg, and yet Gareth Southgate did not give him a sniff for Villa to sign him for just £11 million for a kid who could genuinely become world class. Somebody who could play on the wing or at full back. This is like signing a young Ashley Young. Bournemouth, Enes Unal. Yeah, many people will look at Enes Unal as if he's just a penguin made of cheese. Literally nobody has paid a shred of attention to Bournemouth finalizing his permanent move from Getafe after a 2-goal loan spell. But am I the only one who thinks this incredibly low-key signing, something which garnered about as much media attention as my last bowel movement? Does anyone think that a £13 million move for this Turkish beast is actually quality business? This is a 27-year-old striker who, before his horrible ACL injury, he was a La Liga monster, scoring 31 goals across 2 seasons for mid-table Getafe. I mean, this is somebody who snubbed interest from Chelsea to join actual Manchester City when he was a teenage striker. This isn't somebody born with less talent than a Pikachu toy. No, he didn't score loads on loan, but he was coming back from a horrible injury. That loan spell was a trap, tricking us all into thinking that he's now some bloated beanbag with the first touch of a monkey's menopause. But no, this just reminds me when Radamel Falcao needed 2 seasons to reload after a dreadful ACL injury, looking absolute turtle vomit in the Premier League, before exploding back into sickeningly beastly form at Monaco. Come on, guys, he looked like a fat chicken at both Man United and Chelsea. Yeah, 3 years later, he was outscoring Kylian Mbappe. A few weeks before that kid had to walk up with a spoon. Trust me, signing Unal for just £15 million. What a steal. Brentford, Stuart Armstrong. Look, Stuart Armstrong has yet to sign on the dotted line with Brentford, but let's be honest, this one is going to happen. The 32-year-old midfielder has been on trial with the Bees after his release from Southampton. The guy is literally playing in pre-season friendly matches. So this one, it's just a horribly kept secret. I'm sorry, but for Thomas Frank to get his greasy little paws on this bloke, a man with over 50 caps for Scotland, somebody who was never injured. I mean, lads, he just crammed 214 games of football into just 6 seasons with the Saints. Yes, I know he's only 8 years off 40, and yes, his hamstrings are probably beginning to feel weaker than a family of baby hamsters. I mean, yes, trudging his weary body into training every morning. It's probably starting to feel a little bit like giving Middlesbrough McCarthy a piggyback up a flight of stairs, but still, this is quality Premier League experience. To be able to sign him for less than the price of a Petit Falou, this is a no-brainer. Brighton, Amario Cozier-Duberry. Look, amidst all the hipster, strange signings by Brighton this summer, I don't think anybody has bothered to notice they've actually pinched a wonder kid, managing to convince 19-year-old winger Amario Cozier-Duberry, someone who spent 5 years wowing coaches in the Arsenal Academy. I mean, the under-18 manager Jack Wilshere has described him as unplayable. He's been called the mini Saka, and so Brighton have got him For free? He's already scored a couple of goals for them on a pre-season trip to Japan. Trust me, this kid is going to be an absolute gem. Chelsea, Caleb Wiley. Okay, look, Chelsea seem to sign a new £20 million kid every week. Stamford Bridge is fast resembling some sort of lavish luxury orphanage where all the kids get to eat cookies and popcorn instead of gruel and worms. But amidst all of the random youngsters who we're never going to hear from again, I actually think that Caleb Wiley stands a good chance. A 19-year-old defender signed from Atlanta United in the MLS. The guy is already a full USA international. He was an absolute breakout star last year. At just 18 years and 79 days, he became the 5th youngest player in MLS history to contribute to 3 goals in a single match, which is pretty good considering he's primarily a left back. For Chelsea to get a rampaging international left back for just £8.5 million, someone who right now is a USA Olympian, that's pretty clever work. And yeah, he's about to get loaned to their feeder club Strasbourg in France, where he'll weirdly be coached by Liam Senior? Crystal Palace Daishi Kamada. Yeah, I've already said it. Now, Crystal Palace managed to convince 27-year-old Japanese winger Daishi Kamada to infuriate Lazio by refusing a new contract and leaving on a free just 1 year after touching down in Rome from Eintracht Frankfurt for Oliver Glasner to be able to work with him again. I mean, Kamada's stats in Germany were scary. 40 goals and 33 assists for Frankfurt. So to pinch him for zero money. I mean, Steve Harris didn't even need to steal Tooth Fairy money from underneath his nephew's pillow. This is a quality piece of business. Everton Jacob Ryan. This is my favorite transfer of the summer, bar none. Lads, Ireland have been so starved of actually exciting natural talent for so long, as proven by the fact that the 2 most expensive Irish footballers of all time are both Nathan Collins. And I'm sorry, but that guy is about as exciting as a muesli sandwich. But Jake O'Brien, a 23-year-old centre-back who's just played out an entire season for Lyon. I mean, an Irish centre-back at Lyon. French Giants Lyon. Yeah, Mick McCarthy did that once. He played 10 games for them in 1989 and couldn't get in the team past Bruno Ngozi and Remy Gard. I'm guessing McCarthy was so out of his depth in France, hating the culture to such a point that he probably spent his leisure time beating up mime artists in the town square before punching a croissant to death. But O'Brien, he's just kept a Champions League and Premier League winning centre-back, rooted to the bench all season. I mean, Dejan Lovren has played in the World Cup final, and yet this grubby little Ron Weasley lookalike from Cork has made him about as relevant as that chunk of chewing gum on my uncle's toupee. I flicked into his coffin as we lowered him into the ground. O'Brien is the most exciting Irish centre-back. I feel about O'Brien this week the same way nerds feel about Doctor Doom. Honestly, for just £16 million. Amazing. Fulham Ryan Sessegnon. This is just perfect. This Tottenham misfit, Ryan Sessegnon, was being babysat by Crystal Palace, an unemployed free agent. Here he was playing for Oliver Glasner on trial. And yet all of a sudden, the guy immediately re-signs for Fulham, which just makes sense. This seems like some sort of romantic comedy where the guy sees his first love now being wooed by a new bloke from London with 6-pack abs. So by the 3rd act, he races to the airport to win her back. That was Fulham. Clearly insanely jealous that their former wonder kid was now getting free meals at Sellers Park. And so now this left wing back is at Craven Cottage again for free, which is crazy. Imagine telling any Fulham fan when they saw their mega talent prized out of their hands by Spurs 5 years ago. Imagine being told they'd be able to sign him back for free. He was someone who at Fulham was seen as one of the best young wingers in the world. Imagine telling them they could sign him for free at just 24. It would be like telling Leeds United fans they can get Archie Gray back from Spurs for less than the price of a Freddo in just 5 years time. Ipswich Town Ben Johnson. Look, I think Ipswich Town have been ripped off all summer long, absolutely overpaying for championship standard players. So they haven't actually done anything I've been impressed by so far. So I don't know. Signing 24-year-old right back Ben Johnson on the free from West Ham, someone who's played over 100 times for the Hammers, Europa Conference League winner. It's all right, I guess. Leicester City Michael Golding. Again, I am not impressed by Leicester City's transfer window either. I don't know. I mean, they snagged Chelsea's 18-year-old midfield talent Michael Golding. I don't know. I guess he's talented. Liverpool Rio Nguma. Liverpool have signed the next Raheem Sterling. That is what they are clearly hoping for, after once again prizing an England underage international wing sensation talent from a London academy. Rio Nguma is only 15 years old and is joining the Liverpool under-18s team from Chelsea. I mean, apparently Chelsea Chiefs are furious, so he must be good. He's apparently trained with the senior Chelsea team on multiple occasions, ironically battling it out against Sterling. So this transfer might not look like anything now. Liverpool fans are not exactly going to be giddily dancing in their garden to the news that they've signed a 15-year-old, someone not old enough to remember bananas in pajamas. But remember, nobody blinked an eye when the Reds signed Sterling in 2010. Instead, that was just a summer for all the fans to moan about Roy Hodgson choosing to buy a bunch of bald rubbish like Paul Konchesky, John Joe Shelby, and a fat Joe Cole. Nobody appreciated that Liverpool were signing a 15-year-old megastar from QPR for just £450,000, someone who'd grow up to fetch them £50 million. So this transfer might not look like anything now, but this could be huge. Man City Savio. This is clever. Really clever. Actually, this is the sort of elite 40 chess move that absolutely enrages the rest of the Premier League. Because, lads, this summer, Manchester United have basically been told to back off from signing highly rated Nice centre-back Jean-Claire Todibo. Because apparently UEFA are going to block any transfer between Manchester United and Nice, as they are two outfits who will both be competing in the Europa League this season, and they're both owned by Jim Ratcliffe. So immediately people are screaming,
how unfair! Because Man City have just signed Savio from Girona. They're also a feeder club, and they're in the Champions League this season. How is that allowed? Clearly City must have bribed the UEFA committee.
no. What makes this genius is that, yes, this is allowed. Because, yeah, the Man City group signed Savio from Atletico Mineiro in 2022. And yes, if he was being signed from their feeder club Girona, that would be blocked because they are in the Champions League along with City. But they're not. He was actually on loan at Girona from another one of City's feeder clubs in France, Troyes, a team he's never actually played a single minute of football for. He was officially registered to a team who last season were nearly relegated to the French third tier. To put it in context, in the French football pyramid, last season, Troyes were stuck. There was never any danger of them qualifying for Europe and ruining this deal. So, well done, City. They've avoided a Todibo-shaped mess. Man United, Joshua Zirkzee. Look, all the fuss this summer is about Manchester United pinching Lenny Euro from Lille. And yes, that is a fantastic signing, but do not sleep on Man United wrapping up a £30 million deal for Joshua Zirkzee from Bologna. Yes, Bologna. Don't look at me like that. How do you say it? Bologna! Zirkzee is not world class, but he's a nippy 23-year-old forward who, unlike Anthony Martial, has not given up on the sport completely, and so can actually provide competition for Rasmus Højlund, which is only going to make the Danish striker better because last season, with a corpse like Martial waiting in the wings, Højlund knew he could practically play every match with the flu, and he still ain't getting taken out of the team. So a young, hungry football striker with everything to prove. I think he's going to be as good as Martial was when Martial first joined. I mean, don't forget, he had a 17-goal debut season. He was electric. I think Zirkzee is going to be another Martial. Newcastle, Lloyd Kelly. Lloyd Kelly will play for England this season. Look, on paper, this is a perfect signing for Newcastle. A 25-year-old extremely versatile defender who is comfortable either as a centre-back or as a left-back. Kelly is essentially a shorter, technically better Dan Burn. He doesn't look like someone who's constantly about to make tea for the Adams family. And to get him on a free transfer from Bournemouth, incredible. This is like when Man City signed Julian Lescott at the start of their takeover regime. It's a solid signing. Nottingham Forest, Carlos Miguel. Look, how many Premier League clubs are able to sign talented 25-year-old goalkeepers with less than £4 million? Carlos Miguel is an uncapped Brazilian goalkeeper who did just burst into Corinthians' first team last season for the cup matches. And Forest have needed a settled number one ever since Bryce Samba quit for Lens. I mean, they've just chosen to go for short-term, no-commitment flings with big names like Keylor Navas, Dean Henderson, Matt Sell. So hopefully, they've actually landed on a settled permanent goalie after even the USA number one Matt Turner wound up having spaghetti limbs. Southampton, Ben Brereton Diaz. This is a clever, shrewd signing. I have no idea why no other Premier League club was sniffing around Ben Brereton Diaz this summer. A Chile international forward who quit Villarreal midway through last season, he joins one of the worst Premier League teams of all time in the spineless Sheffield United on loan and still helps himself to 6 goals from utterly minimal service. A £7 million deal for a nippy 25-year-old forward with an eye for goal. Very clever. Tottenham, Lucas Bergvall. Look, I know everyone is obsessed with Tottenham signing Archie Gray from Leeds, but he's just the future Sessegnon, so I don't know. Spurs signing 18-year-old Swedish midfield talent Lucas Bergvall from Djurgården for 8.5 mil. He's supposed to be a quality wonder kid, like a mini Modric. I mean, he was somebody the Magpies wanted to sign too, and the last time Tottenham and Newcastle were fighting it out over a talented midfield wonder kid, it was Modric, so good signs, I guess. West Ham, Luis Guilherme. Look, Luis Guilherme was a hot prospect in Europe. An 18-year-old Brazilian midfield talent for Palmeiras. So for West Ham to make a mockery of his €55 million release clause, and to get it for less than half of that, this could be really clever. Wolves, Rodrigo Gomez. Yeah, Wolves are wrapped up a £12.7 million deal for Rodrigo Gomez, a highly rated 21-year-old Portuguese wing-back from Braga. Yeah, seems like a clever buy, I guess. Anyway, that's what do you think? Let me know. What do you think? Let me know in the comments. What was your miracle, crazy, shrewd business deal this summer? Let me know in the comments. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to get a like, share, subscribe as always. I'll talk to you in a while.